Hi there, kids. It's Sue. On this episode of the Buzz Club, we're going to take a closer look at a garden slug. Slugs are absolutely fascinating, and I've spent about 8 years studying them in particular in relationship to fungi, which is where you can often find a slug hiding out. Here we see our segmented worm crawling around the slug. Not sure what it's doing there, but I'm sure it's finding something interesting to feed on. As you can see, this slug is upside down. I put it that way. The largest organ of the slug is its foot, and the foot takes up the entire tummy or ventral surface of the organism. We're going to watch as this slug slowly twists itself right side up again using the opposing sets of muscles through the length of its body that allow it to move. You can also see this shiny glistening surface on the foot. That's because it's covered with a layer of slime. The slime is produced by a gland underneath its head, and as the mucus is secreted, the movement of the slug spreads the slime both sideways and longways so that the slug can then glide along the surface. Slugs produce 3 different kinds of mucus. One is for mobility, and that allows the slug to glide. Another kind of slime is for moisture, for keeping its body moist. And the third type of slime is a defense slime. When threatened by a predator, the slug will release copious amounts of slime all over its body. It's a thicker kind of slime, and it gums up the mouth parts of whatever bird or mammal is trying to eat this slug, to the point where it just wants to spit it out as fast as it can. There is also a chemical trail left by the slug's slime, one that the slug recognizes as its own, and it uses its slime trail to find its way back home, sometimes not until the end of a whole season, where it will retreat into a cozy den and spend the winter in a torpid state, which means that it slows down its metabolism for the winter. If you've ever handled a slug, you know your hands will come away covered in slime. And when you go to try to wash it off, it just keeps absorbing more and more water and expanding. It's impossible to wash slug slime off with water. You need to use a dry towel to get it off your skin, or you can roll your hands together in a dry fashion until it balls up like rubber cement would when you're trying to get rubber cement off of a surface. Slug slime is absolutely fascinating material, and I know someday it will be really important as a material for a coating or antibiotic proofing. I think there's magic in slug slime that's still yet to be discovered, and maybe you'll be the one to discover it someday. The first thing you'll notice in this picture of the slug is another type of slime that it's releasing from a gland near its tail in a very thick strand. These are often used for suspending the slugs from tree branches. Now let's look at the whole slug body. Can you see at its head the 2 tentacles that stick up in the air and little black dots at the end? Those are its eyes. They can detect light and dark, and in some species they can detect heat as infrared. Notice below the head there are 2 more tentacles that are short, that are probing the surface of the wood. These sensory tentacles detect texture and they can smell. Slugs are very good at finding their food by smelling it. I'm going to turn the slug around so that we see its right side. The first thing you'll notice is a hole behind its head. This is its breathing pore. Some species of slugs are identified by the location of the breathing pore. It's either in the front half of the mantle, the cloak-like covering at the front end of the slug or near the posterior end of the mantle. And when we lift the mantle on the right side, we will find its anus. That's because slugs have a U-shaped digestive tract. Most species of slugs feed all night long, using their scraping tongue to feed on tissue of fungi, lichens, insects, and soft parts of plants. Slugs consume several times their own body weight each night. While some of you might think, ew, slugs, they really are important members of our woodland ecosystems. Slugs help decompose organic matter on the forest floor. They add fertilizer wherever they go, and they are known to disperse spores and small seeds. I hope that today you've learned to hug a slug. I'll see you the next time.